Hi everyone, it's been a while since I've actually done a video. Been really busy with a lot of different things, trying to get some things in order. So this is all about an update on my kidney transplant. Okay, so let me start from the beginning. The last time I think I talked to you guys about this, I was going through all these different tests before you can even become presented to the committee in order to get on the list to wait for a kidney transplant. So I did all that. They told me that they were going to basically present my case. I think it was, I want to say it was in April. And then in April, they deferred me to another doctor whom they said he needed to look at my, basically all my radiology. So 3 weeks had passed. I hadn't gotten a call for the appointment or anything. I ended up contacting the hospital, and someone there was like, oh, they'll call you. So they called me that day. They set up an appointment for me to come in and see this particular doctor. So let me tell you about that. Really, it's been a very rough experience. Let me just tell you that much. So they scheduled my appointment for May 23rd at 9 a.m. So I get there early because there usually is always blood tests that you have to give blood or something in between. So I get there a little bit early, like I think I get there at 7:30. And so I get checked in, and she's like, okay, I'll fill out this paperwork. And then I look at the paperwork right now. I've completed all my tests. I've done all that. I've been going to this hospital for a while. And I look at the paperwork, holding the paperwork like this in my hand. And I'm like, why am I filling this out? Like, this is for new patients. I mean, this is the stuff that I've already filled out. I'm only here to talk to this doctor about my transplant and like before I can get listed, because this is the last step. Why do I need to then go and fill out all this information that I filled in? She's like, oh, that doctor kind of likes everything to be filled out again. I was like, okay, I took it, but I didn't even fill it out. I put my name on it and drew a line through everything else and gave it back to her. Because it was ridiculous. They had all that. I filled out so much paperwork, it's beyond belief. So I'm irritated at that, but I give it back to her, and I said, I'm not filling anything else further out. I'm just here for a consultation. That he's supposed to know my history and everything already, because supposedly he's had my entire profile for over 2 months. Okay, so I'm sitting there. She's in the problem. So 9 o'clock rolls around. All these other patients come pouring in. They're waiting to be seen. My appointment's at 9, so I'm like, okay, no problem. I don't mind waiting. So I sat there comfortably reading a magazine and looking at my phone. And so 9:15 went past. Now it's past 15 minutes past my appointment. I'm just like, okay. But I see all these other patients getting called back, and every time they come out and call somebody, it's never me. So 9:30 rolls around, 9:45, and at 9:45, I'm like, okay, why am I not called back yet? I was even here earlier than everybody else. I was on time. I was up for my appointment. There shouldn't be a problem. So I go back up to this lady at the front desk, and I'm like, what is the problem? Why am I not called back? Everybody that has come in and checked in after me has gone back. So, and they didn't come in until 9 o'clock and check in. So that means we all had appointments. Why am I not being called? And she goes, oh, okay, well, let me go see what's going on. Well, let me just call them. Then she says, she gets on the phone. She calls back there. She's like, yes, Mrs. So-and-so is here, and she wants to know how much longer it's going to be. Her appointment was at 9 o'clock, and she wants to know what's going on. And you can see, like, her eyes kind of get a little bit bigger, and you can tell she's hearing some incredible stuff. So she gets on the phone. I was like, what's going on? She's like, oh, they're going to come and get you right now. I was like, but why am I having to come back up to you to be able to get pulled in? I know they see me on their screen, because the way their system works is when you get checked in, it alerts you if the patient's been sitting in the waiting room for longer than 30 minutes. Right? So they're getting these alerts. So now they go to take me back, and the first thing I'm like, well, before this, I said, why haven't you guys not called me back? My appointment was at 9 o'clock. There is nobody else out there but me. I'm the only one who hasn't been called. What is going on? Then she's like, well, we're going to put you in this room over here, but I'm not sure why they scheduled you at 9 o'clock. Our doctors don't come in until 11:30. So as soon as she said that, it went to livid. I was beyond irritated. I was just at livid. I was like, so why would she schedule me at 9 o'clock if your doctors don't come until 11:30? She's like, I don't know. She's the person that scheduled your appointment. She's pointing to another girl named, I want to say her name was Veronica, I believe. And she's like, I scheduled her at 9 o'clock because that's when the doctors are supposed to be here for appointments. She's like, no, they don't normally come here until 11:30. She says, I've never been told that. And then she says, so I scheduled her. And I said, now, you guys are going back and forth, back and forth. But who I need to speak to is the manager of this department, the head of this department. I'd like to talk to, because now you have inconvenienced me, and the doctor is not even here, and I had to travel 43 miles in one direction to come down here, and 43 miles back. You're not going to compensate me for gas or parking or anything. And so they're like, okay, we'll call the manager. But I said, well, you need to call the doctor too and let him know he has a patient over here waiting for him. And then she says, oh, they're not going to do anything. I was like, well, then I need to speak to the director, because I'm the patient. I said, I'm going to contact my insurance company and let them know how you're treating patients, because not one of you came out there to say anything to me about why I was sitting there waiting so long. I had to approach you. Then you two sit here and argue back and forth. Then you claim this, one person claims another thing. Really, none of that matters to me. What matters to me is my time. So what are we going to do? She's like, if you want to have a seat. I said, no, I'm not going to sit in a room until 11:30. I'm going to sit out here. I need the director. I need the head's number. I don't know who I need to call, but I need to talk to them. So I go out there in the waiting room, and I'm sitting and waiting, and I'm like steaming mad, because first of all, I had to go through this whole task of waiting weeks to get an appointment, and the only reason I got an appointment then is because I called. And then I get this appointment at a certain time. I get here, and there's not even a doctor here that's supposed to see me, right? So meanwhile, while they know I'm like really just livid out there, I'm just sitting there calmly, but I'm very livid. A coordinator passes by. She goes, "Hey, Miss Jones, how you doing?" I was like, "Oh, not well." I said, "I'm very pissed off right now." She said, "Well, what's going on?" I said, "Let me just explain to you how upsetting it is. How I've dealt with you guys from day one. You're uncoordinated. There's no communication. You leave patients waiting and just in bewilderment." I said, from day one till now. I said, now I was scheduled for my appointment at 9 o'clock this morning with a doctor. And now I'm being told now the doctors don't come until 11:30. Not really sure why you scheduled me at 9 o'clock. Not you per se, but Veronica. She says, because the doctors are normally here at 9 o'clock. I said, nope. According to their staff back there, the doctors are not here till 11:30. She said, well, let me go back there and find out what's going on. I said, please do. And if you can get the number to the director of this department, I'd like that number as well. She's like, sure, I'll get everything for you. So she comes back and she goes, yeah, I don't know what's going on, but here, I got a number for you. And actually, she gave me your number. She said, but when you're done, she wants to talk to you directly, because this kind of thing has to stop. So about 10 minutes later, all of a sudden, come on back, Ms. Jones. The doctor is suddenly there. We're going to put you in your room. The doctor's here. And I can hear them out there saying, oh, thank God he came. I didn't think he was going to come. So he comes in and he introduces himself and he says to me, so tell me about yourself. I didn't know I was coming to a psychology appointment. What do you mean tell me? So I said, you need to be more specific. What are you asking me? So what brought you here? Now I am so past livid at that point. I'm like, listen, dude. I didn't say dude, but I was like, listen, I am here because you were supposed to be overlooking my file so that I can be presented for the board to determine if I could be listed. I'm only here for this purpose. I said, you have done every test known to man, and I'm just here. They said I need to talk to you at the last resort. And so now what your job is to do what? You're a surgeon. Why do I need to tell you my life story to find out what about it? All they did was hand me this is what he says to me. All they did was hand me an x-ray and they sent me in here. So now it's pretty clear for this whole 2-month period span, this doctor has never even looked at my case. Never looked at my case. I'm so irate and out of control at this point mentally. I'm not like verbally expressing it, but I'm just like in my mind there's an explosion going on. And so I was like, listen, I'm not here to tell anybody my life story. I said, I have given you guys everything that you needed. I've taken every test that you needed, and I'm still not listed. And I need to understand why. And he goes, you're not listed? I'm like, no, I'm not even listed. They deferred me to you. And he's looking at his paperwork. He's looking at me. He's like, I'm not sure why or what's going on, but you will be listed today. I apologize. He said, listen, let's start fresh. He said, I want you to put your trust in me. He said, I know you've had bad experiences with all these other people, but he said, I am going to personally take over this case, and I am the director of surgery department for kidney transplants. He said, it's funny, he said, I know that you have a renal stent. He said, I said, well, that's the reason they told me they deferred me to you, because I have a renal stent. A renal stent is something they put in when you get a kidney transplant. And I said, I didn't really understand what I needed deferred for that for. That's a usual and customary thing that you do. And he goes, yes. What alarms me, he says, is that they have deferred you over to me, not listed you, for something that is very simple that they should already know how to do. I said, well, they told me they didn't know if they could do it because of the renal stent. And he was just kind of like flabbergasted. He's like, I don't know where the miscommunication is, he said, but apparently I need to have some conversations with my fellow surgeons and find out where their head is, because there's really no reason for you to have been deferred. You should have been listed back in April. And he said, I will get you listed right now. So he walks out the door. He talks to this nurse, comes back. He says, okay, then he tells me, okay, we're going to go ahead and list you. And so the nurse comes up to me and she's talking to me. He said, and you follow up after you get listed, you immediately go get some vascular workup done. They call you to schedule the appointment, and then you go back for that, and that's it. And then you're listed. So when I'm walking out, the nurse gives me her card, and she says, now from this point, I'll be on your team. Call me if they haven't called you in a week. It was 2 weeks past. This past Monday was 2 weeks. I called them, and I spoke to her, and I was like, listen, how long does it take for your team to call somebody back to schedule a simple appointment for a vascular workup? She's like, they have not called you yet? Once again, no, they haven't. It's always me who has to keep calling them. She goes, oh my God, I'm so sorry. Let me call them and I'll call you right back. And then she says, okay, I got your, she's like, no one even looked at this to make an appointment. I was like, now here I'm going back from calm. Now I'm agitated now. And I'm like, so I said, see this, I told her, see, this is the constant behavior I see from your hospital and staff. I'm sitting here. If I hadn't called today, you guys would not have even called me. I would have been just sitting here waiting and waiting and waiting. She's like, well, let me call them and find out what's going on right now so we can get you. I'll call and get the appointment. She calls them, calls me back. She says, they're going to call you and set up your appointment. I was like, oh yeah. I said, would you like to make a bet on this? I'd like to wager this. I'll bet $100 that they don't call me back. She starts laughing. She says, no, they're going to call you back. I promise they're going to call you back. And if they don't call you back, call me back. They haven't called. I'm not surprised at this point. It's almost a week now. They haven't called. At the end, tomorrow will be Friday. That's the last work day of the week for them. They don't work on the weekends. So, still haven't gotten a call back. It's funny to me now because I know I'm going to have to call them. But when I call them, it's not going to be very nice. Trust me. But anyway, so my dialysis nurse and friend, Carlos, he calls me the other day and he says, I guess it was, I want to say Tuesday he called me and he said, I am looking at a letter that I received from Houston Methodist. He read the letter to me. The letter basically said, dear Ms. Jones, we have taken you before the committee and determined that you are eligible to be on the wait list, and we have put you on the wait list as of June 1st. So that's me hearing it from him. Now, they're supposed to contact me directly by phone, no phone call. And I'm like, okay, well, thank you for telling me that. And then so now I'm agitated even more. So I call them back. I asked to speak to what is supposed to be my coordinator, William. And I'm like, listen, my dialysis unit already has a letter. Why don't I have a letter? Oh, I'm not sure. I said, well, I was told that I was put on the wait list as of June 1st. So how many, and the next question, I got to explain this to you. So when you get put on the wait list, what they do is from the time you actually start dialysis until this day, you get all those days added on there. So that means that instead of it being day 1, My first day was, I think it was like day, I want to say it was, let me see, it was day, I spoke to him, actually, I spoke to him on the 10th, and on the 10th, because of all the time that I have been on dialysis, I am now on wait day 1,000, well, today, it would be, well, I'm sorry, on the 10th, it was 4.1 years I've been on the wait list, which means 1,501 days that I've been on the wait list. So um, they take those 4 years, and that just means you have to wait less. You go higher up on the list because you've waited 4 years already. So you move up the list pretty quickly, hopefully. Um, so what I'm going to do is the wait basically begins. So, for instance, today we have like, let's see. Okay, so today, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, actually today is 4.12 years, and it's day 1,505. Okay, so we're at 1,505 days I've been on the wait list, basically, even though I was listed on June 1st. Because all of my time, when I first started second time starting dialysis, that time counts all the way up until now. So, that makes me go up to almost close to the very top of the list, because the average wait is 4 to 6 years here. So, and also, I mean, I'm happy about finally getting listed. It's just crazy that that I waited all this time. It just kept in dilemma. So I haven't posted anything about it at all because I was in a dilemma still. So because I just got this news, I felt like, let me get on here and tell everybody what is going on. So now I am on day, wait, 1,505. Yeah, 1,505 days now. I've currently been waiting for a kidney transplant. So I'm going to be giving weekly updates. It may be I'll try for daily, but it might be a little difficult. I might just get on real quickly and say something. But day 1,505, and I'm going to be counting those days, and just to see how long I actually would have on this wait list before I actually get a kidney. So we're on a countdown. I've created a calendar that tells me what day we're on and where we're at, like in years. So 4-year mark, 4.1 years, and I'm hoping to get past that pretty quickly, and go get called very quickly. Hopefully I get called. I'm hoping, and this is extremely hoping, within the next 8 months. I hope. My friend Carlos, and also my dialysis nurse, he told me, he said he thinks it's going to be within 6 months, and he's had a lot of patients that's been on this program, this home hemo program, where you do your own treatments at home, and a lot of his patients have been pulled away for kidney transplant in like the last 3 months. So I don't know, maybe I might be one of those cases, maybe not. I never get excited about that thought process, because you just never know what's going to happen with you, because like I said, they get these kidney donations in whenever they get them in. The best way for me, though, is a living donor, which is a living donor is someone that wants to donate an organ to you. Basically, it's anyone you know or anyone you don't know can donate an organ. And even if you don't match me, you may match another person, and then I may match another living donor. And what they do is do the exchange. So whoever I match, they give me that kidney, and whoever that person match, they give them your kidney. So it's like a crisscross thing, you know. But I think that would be the best, because those kind of kidneys actually last you a lifetime, as opposed to cadaver or deceased donor kidneys. They don't last as long, which then requires you to have multiple kidney transplants. Like I had a kidney transplant back in 2009. It only lasted 6 years. And that's why I went back on to dialysis. And let me tell you, for those 6 years, it was the best 6 years. So I'm hoping for this one. So cross your fingers for me, pray for me, and I hope that I get a transplant soon. Was there anything else? Let me think. I don't really think there was anything else I had to tell you about other than that, just that fact that now we are now waiting for that kidney. But thank you so much for watching this. If you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment. Don't forget to click that subscribe. And please, by all means, share this with someone, okay? Thank you so much for watching. You guys take care and have the most amazing day ever. Bye. Yeah, no, no, no.